everybody. Welcome to our webinar about the validation of fire safety design and the dynamic simulation of BIM models. Today, my colleague, Graver Santana, and myself, Evaristo Morata, will be with you, showing you and the process, the workflow of this program using three of the main programs of CYPEFIRE. One of them is the CYPEFIRE, the other one is the one of hydraulic system, and finally we have the FDS, the fire dynamic simulator, and that are very useful to create the protection system and the safety system in case of fire, to avoid risks and to have a solution to any problem of this kind. So, Graver, if you want, you can start by sharing your screen and
Yes. Yes, hello everyone. In today's webinar, as my colleague said, I'm going to be introducing and showing to you guys our software solution to design a fire protection installation. So you're going to be able to do it according to one of the standards that already comes with the software, or if you wish, you can set up a custom standard. So it means that you can use you can introduce your own standard. So as I'm going to show you later. So the first thing that I would like to show you is the workflow that we are going to be using. This is how we are going to start. For example, here I have the project that I'm going to be working on was design and model on CYPE architecture. I'm going to start opening. So I'm just going to show you in here because we are not going to see that much about CYPE architecture today. So here, what you're going to do is to design the building and do everything according to the needs of your project. Here, what I have is an industrial building with a first floor, second floor, and third floor. Okay. So if we go now to the first floor, we are going to have a workshop. So you know the building that we are going to be working on. You're going to have a workshop and you're going to have a store. And then here you're going to have a stair. Then in the second floor, we are going to have the offices. This is just a common building, industrial building. So after you finish the design of your project, for example, here in CYPE architecture, you are going to be able to join to the project that you create in BIMserver.center. And then when you are done with it, you're going to be able to export it to the cloud. I'm not going to do it now since I already have done it. I'm going to go straight and just going to go straight to the CYPEFIRE. So let's say that I already exported to the cloud and now I'm going to go to the CYPEFIRE. Then here in the CYPEFIRE, we are going to be able to see the project that we have imported using these buttons. Then here, if we go to the first floor, for example, we are going to be able to see the building. And here we can start working. So the first thing that I always like to do here is to calculate. So the software can tell me what I need to do. But when I calculate, I'm going to see some errors in here. For example, this said that this space is not assigned to any fire compartment. So what I have to do now is to go to the fire compartment here. And if I try to enter a fire compartment, I create a new one, for example, it would say that before entering the fire compartment, I must define the checks that are going to be applicable. So it means that I need to introduce the standard or the code that I'm going to be working on with. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to go to the general option. And here I'm going to be able to introduce all the general data and the checks. For example, if I go here now to the check of the fire compartment, I'm going to be able to create a new one, for example. I'm going to call it type A, and then I can give a description of it according to my standard. I can select here if the building is going to be industrial or a general building. Then here I'm going to select all the checks that are going to be applicable to it. And then here, for example, if I go to the requirement of equipment, if I click on the fire hose reel, Then I'm gonna have a screening here that I'm gonna be able to select the one that are applicable according to my standard and set the area of them. Then here in the property of the equipment, if I click in here, I can set the nominal diameter of the fire hose reel and the maximum distance to the equipment. For example, I'm gonna select 25 or something like that. And then we are gonna see all those checks that are gonna be in the project when we start introducing all the elements.
So what I see is once you start working in the CYPEFIRE program, the first step is going to general options. And in general options, you take decisions about all the features that must be selected to start with the program, right?
Yes, that's right. The first step that you need to do is to introduce the standard that you are going to be working with. And in order to do it, you have to click on the general option and introduce all the parameters. Then once you finish it, you are only going to do it once in one time, because after that you can export the information that you introduce in here. Then when you export it, you can give a name to it. For example, I'm going to say ABC, or I'm going to write example. And I'm gonna be able to export the information. When the information is exported, and then, for example, I open a new project, I'm gonna be able to import the standard that I just created. So so that means that you can do it the first time, and then you're not gonna have to do it again, since you are gonna be able to import that information.
No need to repeat the work, because once
you don't need to do it. You only need to do it one time.
You can use for the next project, different project, but same general options. I understand.
That's right. That's right. For example, I'm gonna cancel it, and then, for example, here you're gonna be able to introduce the evacuation routes, etc. For example, if you introduce, and then in here you're gonna be able to see them. Since I have already introduced a couple of elements, I'm gonna open the second step of the project where I have already introduced the fire compartment and the evacuation routes. Hold on. And now here, if I go to the fire compartment, you're gonna be able to see that I have created 2 fire compartments. For example, in the workshop, if I edit it, you're gonna be able to see that, for example, here in the workshop fire compartment, I'm gonna need an automatic fire extinguishing system. Okay. But in the one that I call office and store, I'm not gonna need it. I'm just gonna need a smoke control system. So if I now go back, I already have assigned them. For example, this one, if you see on the right, the fire compartment said workshop. And then in this one here that is in another color, you can see that the fire compartment is the office and store. Then here you can see the evacuation route that I have introduced, all the evacuation route from any of the spaces. Now, if I calculate, the software is gonna say what I need to introduce. What I need to introduce. For example, now I have introduced already some equipment, but since I didn't introduce the fire hose reel, it is asking me to introduce them. So in order to do that, I would have to go here in the equipment and introduce a fire hose reel. If I click in the blue arrow, I can select the fire hose reels that I'm gonna be working with. This is the one that I already introduced in the general option according to my standard. I select that one. Then
by default, all the features you introduce in general option will be given to you to introduce in the.
That's right. That's right. For example, here, as you can see, sorry.
No, go on, please. In this case, regarding to the hose fires, that's right.
Yeah, the fire hose reels, and introducing it, and as you can see, this is the area that is covered. For example, here, if I introduce this one in here, put it in here, and then if I calculate it again, it say that this fire hose reel is gonna be covering all this area, but this one I'm gonna need another fire hose reel, as it is saying here. That's because in the general option here, when I was introducing it, I said that in the fire hose reels, I'm gonna have a maximum distance of 25 meters.
That's right.
One more thing is that the information that you have, that information where you have taken it from, if you click in here, you're gonna be able to see where I have taken that information, and it is gonna be according to my local standard. So if I go back and I introduce another fire hose reels in here, I'm gonna change the orientation of it. I'm gonna introduce it in here. I cancel it, then I calculate it again. You see that now I have all the requirements for the workshop. One more thing is that
the whole area is completed.
Yeah, that means that it is completed. That I need to start working on the rest of the errors that I have. So, for example, here I have two different fire compartments. So it is gonna be asking me for a partition between of them with a fire residence. So the fires, if the fire starts in this side, it doesn't go to this side, to this place. So what I'm gonna do now is that, for example, here it also asking me about a fire break door between those two rooms, because I have a evacuation route in here, and I'm gonna hide the model so I can see clearly. Also gonna hide the space. Then the partition, I'm gonna be able to introduce them in here, and the fire break door. For example, if I select the partition and I start introducing it, and I can introduce like the residence of the structure. For example, now I have 16 minutes, and I can introduce it in here, and then I can calculate. For example, if I introduce one in here, but since there is an easiest way to do it, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go to this button, the design button, that is for me is the magic button, and if I click in here, I already had the evacuation route, and then if I select the partition, it is gonna generate it automatically, and the fire break door. For example, if I click in asset, you're gonna see how they are gonna get generated. You see now that I have a compartment, like a vertical partition with a resident of a structure of 120 minutes and a fire break door with a resident of 60 minutes.
So this is because you have clicked on the magic button.
Yes, I just click in here and it got generated automatically. As if you go to the second floor, the same thing happened. It got generated automatically.
So that saves you.
Yeah, that saves you a lot of time. So then if I finish, I'm gonna open the third step of the project, but I have already finished. And if I calculate now, project has been analyzed correctly. Now I'm gonna be able to see the project report, where we are gonna see all the information that we have generated. For example, here, if I click on the compartmentation, I'm gonna be able to see here the two fire compartments that I have created. Then if I go down, I'm gonna see all the requirements.
So this is a very nice feature of this software. The way of getting the reports directly from the program. No need to make something apart. The program gives you reports.
The program is going to give you all the reports.
It's very interesting. This is very interesting to save also time.
Yeah, that's right. For example, here in the workshop, we said that we are going to be selecting the type 8 of according to the standard that I have introduced, and the standard asks me at a maximum of a surface area of 4,000, but in the project I have 7,000, so I'm meeting the requirement. The same thing applies to offices and store. Then here I'm gonna have this button that said that I'm meeting all the requirements. So if I didn't introduce any fire hose reels, here I'm gonna have something that said I'm not meeting the requirement. Then according to the fire extinguisher that I have introduced and the detection system, you're gonna see all the information. Then if I click on the evacuation, for example, we're going to be able to see the evacuation routes that we have created. Here you see everything with all the evacuation route that we created, all the checks according to the standard that I have introduced. Then here, one thing that I would like to show you in the equipment is that, for example, here we have what the standard asks. For example, in the fire sector workshop, here I said that I'm not gonna need a fire extinguishing system, but in the requirement I introduced that I'm gonna be installing a fire extinguishing system. So it means that when we go to the next software, to the CYPEFIRE Hydraulic System, the software we're gonna ask me to introduce the fire extinguishing system in this sector. So these are the minimum requirements, but I'm introducing more. For example, in this one, it is not asked, and I said I'm not gonna be introducing. Okay, so I'm meeting just the minimum requirements.
Okay, one thing I see is the standard tells you something, but you can decide. You can decide.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. The standard asked me. Sorry.
Yeah.
So the standard asked me for the minimum requirement, but I can introduce more than that. So I can my building I can be more secure. That's what I'm meaning here. Now, if I go back here, I'm gonna be able to share the project that I have created, and the information is gonna be loaded to the cloud. Information is exporting, and the drawing, it is printing the drawing now. Now the information it's gonna start exporting to the cloud.
So this moment you're printing the drawings. This is also interesting because not only the report, but also the let's say the drawings.
Yes, the drawing I'm gonna get in the cloud. So I'm gonna show you the drawing when we get to the next software, so you can see what we can get in the drawing. So then you can print them.
You take a lot of time and work using this program.
Now I think it is finishing. Just wait a couple of seconds. Now the export has finished. Accept. And then you're gonna see here how the information is loading to the cloud. Now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna keep going to the next step. Now with all the information that I created in here, I'm gonna import it to the CYPEFIRE Hydraulic System, where you're gonna be able to design the hydraulic system of the building. So if I now open the hydraulic system, this is what we are gonna see. Hold on, I see. Yeah, it finished. Now, the first thing that I'm gonna do again is to calculate so we can see what the software is asking me for. It is asking me to check the spaces type that have been generated upon the importing BIM model. So it have imported all the things that I have done in the previous software. So it's asking me to check them. For example, here you can see the fire hose reels that have been imported from the previous model. Here, these are the fire hose reels that I have introduced in the previous model. For example, if I go and click in here, as I was showing you before, in the requirement, you're gonna see that to complete this project, an automatic fire extinguishing installation must be included. So that's because in the previous software, I said that I'm gonna be needing a fire extinguishing system. But in this sector, I didn't ask about it, so the software is not asking me to introduce it in here. So I'm gonna need to do it in the workshop. So one more thing now, the first thing now again, what we have to do is go to the general option, and here in the library, for example, if we go to the spaces, we're gonna be able to see if they are checked or not. For example, if I go to the workshop, here you can see that you are gonna need an automatic fire extinguishing, a sprinkler system. And here, if it is gonna be low hazard or ordinary or high hazard. So I'm just gonna select the option by default, and then it's being checked. I'm just gonna accept it. Then in here, as I was saying, for example, you're gonna have all the regulation that already come for the software. For example, if I select the NFPA 13, do you wish to import the NFPA 13 code? I accept it. Then if I click in all the specification, you're gonna see them. They have been created according to the NFPA. And if you edit them, you're gonna see that they are gonna be according to the standard I have introduced. For example, here the maximum operating pressure is gonna be 0.5. That information, if you click in the description of it, that information is gonna be according to this section of the NFPA 13 code. That they said that no sprinkler should be operating with pressure less than 0.5 bars. So I'm gonna accept it, and then I'm gonna show you how we are gonna meet this requirement. I'm gonna go back. Then for example here, I'm gonna show you how you're gonna be able to introduce the sprinkle. For example, if I click in here, I'm gonna be able to select one of the sprinkles that I previously introduced. If I click in the blue arrow bottom here, I'm gonna select the pendant sprinkles, but you can select the upright, for example, or you can introduce another one in the general option. So far I'm gonna select this one. I'm gonna accept it, then again, then I'm gonna introduce it. I can select here a width drop of it. So I'm gonna have a width drop of 40 centimeters. I'm gonna accept it. Then I'm gonna introduce one in here, another one in here, and another one in here.
Yes, please.
Now here, I'm gonna be able to introduce the operation area. If I select the operation area manually here, I'm gonna be able to introduce it. This is gonna be the operation area for this sprinkle. Then here I can generate it automatically. It could be circular or rectangular. For example, if I select rectangular, I can give it the dimension to it. And then by selecting the sprinkler,
Automatically.
Then by selecting the sprinkler, it's gonna be generated automatically.
That's right. I understand.
Then the circular one, for example, if I want to introduce it, I can give the radius to it. Then by selecting the sprinkler again, it's gonna be generated. And then I'm gonna be able to connect them with an horizontal pipe, for example. As you can see, now they are connected. One more thing is if I want to make it easier, I can introduce a branch line and select a width drop again. Then here I'm gonna be able to define the spacing between the sprinkles and the area of rotation again. Example here, they are gonna be introduced automatically. I can introduce as much as I want. And they are already gonna be introduced with a pipe. Then I can introduce acronyms with a branch lines. Example here, gonna be able to select the same information, the type of sprinkle, the type of pipe, and the spacing between the sprinkle and the separation between them, and the number of sprinkles in each side. For example, I'm gonna select 5 in here, so you can see it. And if I introduce them in here, you see that I'm gonna have this introduction of sprinkler. One more thing is that I can introduce a grid system. Here again, I'm gonna be able to introduce all the same information. For example, now if I click in here, you can see you can introduce a grid system. Another option that we have here is that we can get an automatic generation. For example, here in this space, the workshop, it said that I'm gonna need a fire extinguishing installation. If I click in the automatic generation, for example, here I'm gonna be able to select all the parameters again. And the spacing between sprinklers, let me see the space that I have. I think that if here I had 2.5 and the separation between the branch line, I select 2.7. I think I'm gonna introduce them that way. Then if I click in the space, the generation, I'm gonna get the generation automatically. So that means that I don't need to introduce them one by one, so I can save time. Then after that, here you can.
What I see as professionals, are improving their knowledge about the program, they can do this kind of things that may make them save a lot of time and a lot of work for sure. Because
Yeah,
this
that's
is
right.
what you have just done is really wonderful. It's an automatic way to install to design all the sprinklers. Manually, it takes more time, much more time.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Manually, it will take a lot of time, but as you can see, I introduce it just in a couple of seconds. But now, then here, if you update the 3D view, you're gonna be able to see a representation of the system that you have introduced. And if you want to see bigger, you can click in here in the 3D view.
Okay.
And you're gonna be able to see them bigger. If, for example, here I hide the architectural model, I'm gonna be able to see in the inside of the building.
The only installation of the fire elements.
Yeah, here in the CYPEFIRE, since I have in the CYPEFIRE Hydraulic Systems, since I have imported the work what I did in the CYPEFIRE, I'm gonna be able to see also the evacuation routes and on the rest of the equipment that I introduced in the previous software. Because the information was imported in here.
Of course.
Now, after that, what I'm gonna open is a project in the second step. Here, for example, I already have them. I already have them connected, the fire hose reels and the fire extinguisher. Now, if I calculate, the project said that the supply connection has not been defined. So I need to define, for example, here, I need to connect the supply connection. So in order to do it, we are gonna have three options in here. General supply connection, and it can come from the water supply of the city, for example. So what you're gonna have to do to introduce it is that you're gonna have to introduce the information, the pressure and the flow that you're gonna have in the water supply, and then you're gonna be able to introduce it. So for now in here, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna introduce a tank. Let me show you something before. I'm not going to introduce the volume since the software is going to calculate it automatically. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And I'm going to introduce it in here. Straight line. I'm going to introduce it in here. And then I'm going to introduce a booster cell, which is going to be my pump. Here I'm going to have to select the flow and pressure curve. Here, the pump, you can introduce the pump by the midpoint. And you can change all the information by clicking in them, and then you're gonna be change it. Or you can introduce it by point. So you're gonna be here to introduce all the points, and then the curve is gonna get generated with the pressure and with the flow and the pressure that you introduce. But again, if you click in the blue arrow, you're gonna be able to select one of the predefined pump and it curve that already comes with the software. So if I select this one, for example, in the first instance, I'm gonna select it, and then I'm gonna introduce it in here. I'm gonna place it in here. And then I'm gonna connect them with a horizontal pipe. So I want it to go to the ground. So I'm gonna block it so the software doesn't update it. I accept it, then I connect it. And then I connect this one in here also. Now, if I go to calculate, software is gonna tell me what I need. The hydraulic analysis have been carried out correctly. But here you're gonna be able to see the error message that you have. Here is saying that in the first floor I have to do something. So now if I go to this point, we are gonna see what are the errors that we have. This is the hydraulic remote sprinkle. So what it is saying is basically that to be able to design the network correctly, an operating area must include the worst case sprinkler of the sprinkle system. So now here in the design scenario, I'm gonna have to introduce the operation area. As you can see, the software is telling you what you need to do, so you don't need to worry about it. And the operation area that I'm gonna introduce is gonna be this one. Then if I calculate again, the hydraulic calculation have been carried out correctly. Now I have more mistakes or errors. Now it said that the minimum operating pressure is 0. That's because here, as I showed you before, we need a minimum of 0.5. So what I have to do to change it is that I'm gonna have to, in here in the pump, I'm gonna need to change it.
Maybe to increase something, to increase the strength of the pump.
Yeah, I'm gonna define another pump with more pressure and more flow.
The pump in this case by indication of the program, because let's say the water does not arrive with the strength enough to the last, let's say
Exactly.
the further sprinkler.
Yes, that's right.
This is what I understand, and the programs indicates you that, hey.
That's what the program is telling me, that I'm gonna need more pressure and more flow. So what I just did is that I selected a pump with more pressure and more flow. So now if I calculate again, the hydraulic analysis has been carried out correctly. So now I have all the requirements met. For example, if I click in here in the hydraulic remote sprinkle, for example, here now I'm gonna have a minimum operating pressure of 1.5, and it is more than what I need. So now that I have the check correct, if I go and click on the result check,
that's okay.
You're gonna see that what I was showing you before, that the section of the NFPA 13 that said that there's no sprinkler should be operating within less than 0.5 bar. Here now I'm meeting the minimum requirement.
Now you have
the same thing. Yes, that's right. The same thing apply with the area operation and with the flow. So I'm meeting all the requirements. So now if I go to here, if I go to the project report, so you're gonna see here, it calculated again, and I get a project report.
Wow.
We are gonna be able to see the hydraulic analysis.
Of course.
Here you're gonna see the area operation that we selected, and the number of sprinklers that we have in the area operation, and the total water requirement that we are gonna need, the pressure that we are gonna need, and the flow. Then below that, we are going to be able to see the name of the contractor that we introduce in the general data, and the name of the designer, for example. Then here you're going to have the pressure curve. Here you can see the pressure that we are going to need, that is going to be close to C, and then the flow that is going to be around 1,900. Then if we go down, we are going to see the notes, the pressure and the flow, and then the sprinklers that are in the area operation with the pressure and the flow of them. Then here we are going to be able to see all the pipe segments with their sides, the length of them, the flow, the velocity, the loss coefficient, and the friction factor. This friction factor is 120 because we selected that we are going to be working with a Hassen-Williams equation that I'm going to show you now. Then here you're going to be able to see all the comparison to all the pipe. Then if I set in here, I'm going to be able to see the schedule material, the material schedule. I'm going to be able to see all the quantities. Then one thing that I would like to show you is the, hold on.
Have a complete report of all installation.
Yes.
Just very easy and very quick.
Yes, there is something that I want to show you here. For example, here the question calculation, I selected the Hassen-Williams, so it is according to the Hassen-Williams. But if you wish, you can select the Darcy Weich package question and introduce all the other requirements. You can select the type of system, if it's going to be wet or dry. The pressure loss coefficient, you can introduce by a increase of coefficient. For example, here I have 15%. Or you can generate them with the fittings. Here you're gonna have all the fittings, and in the question mark here, you're gonna see an example of what it means. For example, this is the one that it means, and then here you can see all of them, so you don't get lost. And then all the pressure drop here in the library, you're gonna be able to introduce the fittings and the loss coefficient to each one of them. Let's see. Then you're gonna be able to print the drawings. Here the drawing, for example, I'm only gonna select the third floor, so it doesn't take that much time calculating it. And then here you're gonna be able to select how do you want to print them. For example, you can print them in PDF or DWG. So I'm gonna print them in DWG, in PDF. I'm gonna print them in PDF. I'm gonna accept this, so it doesn't take that much time.
That's nice.
Then if I click on all the drawings, for example, here you're gonna see the tank and the pump on all the pipe segment with their diameter and the flow direction, and each shows the sprinkle. And here, if you go this way, you're gonna see the operation area on all the equipment, how they are connected. For example, here you can see the 5-hole reel, how it is connected.
So you don't need another program to create reports, to create graphics. No, everything is without the taking out, without getting out of this program. You can get reports with the whole data and graphics and everything, and you can print. And so this is completely safe of time and work.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Just as you're saying, you don't need to go to any other program, so you can do everything in here. And now there is one more thing that I would like to show you, and it's that you can get a bill of quantities.
Wow.
Clicking here, for example, you're gonna see the project in here. Then if you update here the bill of quantity, you're gonna be able to update it and get the rate and the amount. And you can include your own database. Here you're gonna be able to import your database. So now let's see if I have a database in here. English code database. I'm gonna select it. Now it is saying that I don't have all the rates, so not all of the elements are gonna have the amount. I'm gonna click on yes. This is how you're gonna get all the amount with the rate. For example, this one doesn't have the amount because I didn't introduce a rate. But then in the mapping here, you're gonna be able to introduce all of them, so it is gonna be done automatically, just like these ones. And after that, you're gonna be able to print the report. You're gonna be able to fill out all the information, and then you accept it. Then here you're gonna have the price bill quantities. And if you go down here, for example, you're gonna see the quantities, the rate, and the amount for each element. So then you're gonna be able to export it. You can export it in PDF, or you can export it to any other of these formats.
So you have the let's say the cost of production, let's say, of the cost that implies the design and the work that you have done to design it.
Yes, you're going to be able to introduce all of this in the general parameter, for example. And the currency, you're going to be able to introduce it in here. And the number of decimals that you're going to have, and the percentage, for example, the general expenses and the industrial profit, etc. And you're going to be able to print it out. Now I'm going to go back to the installation. And what I'm going to do again is that I'm going to share the project. So we go to the cloud and we can see.
Okay.
Yeah, there is something here because I'm not connected to the project, so that's good that it happened. So I can see you, so I can show you how you can connect it. For example, if I click on update, we are going to be able to select the project that we have been working on. Here, for example, I'm going to select this one. I'm going to accept it. Then I'm going to bring all the information that I've been working on again. I'm importing the BIM models now. I'm importing the architectural model, and then it's gonna get importing the safety design that I did on CYPEFIRE. Now I click on next, all the spaces type, next again. It's already imported, so if I click on calculate again, everything is gonna be perfect. Now I can share it because I'm connected to the project, and here are the additional files that are gonna be in the cloud. I accepted the drawing that I have selected. I'm gonna accept them so they can go to the cloud, and then we are gonna be able to see it. The sport has finished. Oh, it is now. It is again loading the information to the cloud. Now, if we go back to the workflow, we have worked on the CYPEFIRE, and then on the CYPEFIRE Hydraulic System, and now we are going to have to start on the CYPEFIRE FDS.
Okay, so now we are starting to work in the FDS, which is the last program of the suite that you're going to explain to us. Okay?
That's right. That's right. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to go to the CYPEFIRE FDS. Here, I have opened another project that I already have calculated. So the first thing that we need to see here is that we are gonna, this is a theater. The first thing that we need to see here is that we are gonna have two sections in the software. One is gonna be the BIM model that is gonna come with the information that we imported from the previous software. And then here I'm gonna have the FDF model. So in order to go to the FDF model, first I need to check everything here and then export that information to the FDF model so I can keep working. So first thing that we need to do here is to check the errors. And here we can see that this element, for example, the WL1 and the 2, the 3, 4, 5, all those elements have not been defined. And as you can see here in the warning mark, because I had to define all the building elements. For example, if I click in this one and I add all the layers, for example, I'm gonna name them sample 1 first. I'm gonna paste it. I'm gonna give a thickness to it, 0.6 meters. Obviously, it will be made up of multiple layers, but so far I'm just gonna introduce one of them so we can see the sample. Then in this one, I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna add a layer. I'm gonna name it 2. I'm gonna name it 2 again. Then here I'm gonna say that I'm gonna have 40 centimeters. I'm gonna accept. Then if I update it, you're gonna see that most of the warning are gonna disappear. I'm gonna check the error again. As you can see now, we don't have the first fire warning that we had before because I have introduced those elements. Then here we can see the mesh. The mesh is where we are gonna do the fire simulation, or the area where we are gonna do the fire simulation. And here you are gonna be able to introduce all the coordinates and the number of division. Here, if you increase the number of division, you're gonna have a high fidelity simulation, but it's gonna take more time calculating. So you need to be careful with it because it may take hours calculating. So as I said before, here I have introduced only 2 elements. So if I export it now to the FDS model, only those 2 elements that we are going to export are the ones that we are going to be able to see in the FDS model. So I'm going to export them. It is exporting the element. It is finished. Now, if we go to the FDS, we are only going to be able to see those 2 elements. As you can see in here, we don't have the whole building. So in order to get the whole building to the FDF model, in the BIM model, we need to define all the elements. So as we are not gonna introduce all these elements now because we don't have time to do that, I'm gonna open another project where I already have them introduced.
Okay.
Now this is the project that I just opened. Here, if I check the error in the BIM model, the model is correct because I have introduced everything and I have no question marks in here. Now I can export it. I accept it. The exportation is out this way. Okay, it has finished. Now I can go to the FDS model.
Yeah.
And now in here, you're gonna be able to see that I have the whole building because I have defined all the elements. So what I have to do here, what we're gonna do in here is that we are gonna launch the simulation. So in order to do it, we need to set the simulation time. Then we can adjust the environment properties such as the gravity and the wind velocity, the radiation. And again, we can check it, but since we haven't gone this way, we cannot do it now. And then here you can launch the analysis, and then here you're gonna see the result, the simulation and the graphic report. So now in the library, we are gonna have all the spaces, all the chemical spaces. You're gonna have all of them. Then in here, you're gonna have the materials and the surfaces, the particles. Since we have imported from the CYPEFIRE, here you're gonna be able to see the liquid particle, which is gonna be water. The water for the sprinkles.
Of course.
But you can also have solid particles and massless particles. Then in the reaction, here you're gonna be able to see the element where the fire is gonna start, where the element the species that we are gonna do the combustion with, sorry. So we have propane in here, then we here can see the products, etc. So this species came from the one that we defined before. For example, propane, if we go back to the species, we are gonna be able to see it in here. So you can see it. Then we have the devices such as heat detectors, the smoke detectors. We have introduced smoke detectors, so we are gonna see them, and the sprinklers, the type of sprinkler that we have introduced. Then again, in the model, we are gonna see the meshes. Here, for example, you're gonna have multiple meshes. So if you, for example, want to do the simulation only in this space, you can start with this mesh. Then we are gonna have the zones, the initial region, the obstruction, etc. Again, the devices. And then if we go to the control here, you're gonna see all the controls that we are gonna have in the building and the slices. This one is important because if, for example, here, I wanna see the increase of temperature, I'm gonna be able to see how the temperature is gonna be raising in the building, and I can define them. For example, if I edit it, the reference said that it's gonna be temperature in the x-axis. Then the property here, you can select the quantity. Now I have temperature here, then you accept them. Now, after you define all these elements, you're gonna be able then to run the analysis. So as I said before, for a building of this size, it's gonna take a lot of time to calculate it. It may take hours. So I have prepared it already. So I'm just gonna launch the simulation.
Okay.
Now here the simulation started. Now we have here the smoke view, where we are gonna be able to see the building. So what I'm gonna do now, because I want to see the inside of the building, I'm just gonna hide the geometry. I'm gonna put it online only.
That's perfect.
Then here we are gonna be able to see the file load. And here those.
We call the mesh, no?
Yeah, this is a mesh that we have selected. This one that you can see in here. And then here you can see the fire load. This is what that is where the fire is gonna start. Then here you can see the sprinkles. I'm gonna show you later how they are gonna get activated. So now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna start launching the fire, for example. So you see how the fire is gonna start. So you can see this is the fire starting. Here you're gonna be able to see the time down here.
Yeah.
This is the fire. Now I want to launch the smoke. So you can see how the smoke is gonna start taking into the whole place, and how you are not gonna be able to see. Now I'm gonna show also the visibility. So you can see how we are gonna be losing visibility because of the smoke. Here the fire is rising up.
I see. Maybe.
And if you see in the left screen now, for example, here you're gonna see the visibility that you're gonna have.
This is visibility.
Yeah, now here you are losing the visibility, and you can see how many meters that you're gonna be able to see.
The bar on the right indicates the visibility.
Yeah, in this in the right with the color, it indicate how much you are not gonna be able to see.
I understand.
That's because of the smoke. Here you can see how the smoke is going down. The smoke is going down. This is because we have a tall building, but if we have a building, for example, that start in here, by this time, by 85 seconds, we are not gonna be able to see anything in here.
Because it's full of smoke, everything.
Yeah, now the smoke is gonna start going down, and then the place is gonna be full of smoke. So now what I'm gonna show you is how the temperature is gonna go increasing.
Interesting.
Now in the slices, I want to activate the temperature and the particles. Hold on. Here the particles that are gonna be the sprinkles. We're gonna see now. We are gonna see how the temperature is gonna be increasing, and then we are gonna be able to see when the sprinkle system is gonna get activated. So we're gonna get a closer look to it, so we can see it. Now here again, you're gonna be able to see the temperature in Celsius degrees.
Yeah, I see the bar on the right gives you the idea of temperature.
Yeah, for example, here the temperature that you see in here that is all red, it means that you have more than 170 degrees. So you know.
Yeah.
Now the temperature here start increasing. And when it reach the sprinkler, they are gonna start activating this way. The first one got activated, as you can see.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a closer look.
Oh, nice.
And so now, as you can see, yeah, and as you can see now, the temperature start decreasing in here because of the first sprinkler that got activated. I'm gonna get a closer look so we see the rest of the sprinkler when they get activated. Maybe this is the one that is gonna get activated next. I don't know. Maybe this one, this way.
Okay, what I see is that the temperature is decreasing as the sprinklers are activated.
Yeah, that's right.
And okay, how many? But you have not activated all the sprinklers.
No, they are gonna get activated now. By now, one of them, the rest of the sprinkler are gonna start activating. There's just wait. For example, if you see this one got activated now, and this one also.
Yeah, I see.
You can see it. Now the temperature start decreasing more because we have more sprinklers in the scenario.
Exactly. So I can see in the let's say in the screen that the color has changed to blue. That means that temperature because the action.
That means that the temperature is decreasing. For example, now we are around here. We have less than 15 degrees now.
Of course.
So what I'm gonna do now to finish, I'm gonna show you the graphics result. If you wanna see them graphically. For example, here you're gonna be able to see the devices. For example, these are the controls, and you can see them graphically. Now let me go down to the sprinkles. Here the sprinkles. You're gonna be able to see the information if you want to see them in a simulation, or if you want to see them graphically.
Okay, I understand.
Now, since we have think that is called export. Since we have export all the information to the cloud, I would like to show you in the cloud the information that we are going to be able to see. For example, here, if I go to my project, we are going to be able to see this project. Then if I click in here, the 3D view is going to get open. It is asking me what I want to see. So I want to see everything, the architectural model, the design of the fire service system, the fire extinguishing installation. So I accept it. Now it is preparing the view. Now here you have the view. Well, I'm gonna hide the architectural model so we can see the inside. So you can see here, we can see the inside of the building. You can see the evacuation route. You can see the sprinkler installation. Then if we go to the inside, you're gonna be able to see the rest of the element, the fire hose reels, the fire extinguisher, and the rest of the element. The file load that we have introduced in here. Now, if I close it and I go back, just if you guys want to see this design, the project is open, so it means that everybody is gonna be able to see it. So if you, for example, create an account and you type my name, you're gonna be able to see this project. And if I go to my public profile, for example,
it's open to everybody. Now I enter my let's say BIMserver.center, and I click your name, and I will be able to see your project there.
Yeah, you will be able to see this project. For example, here, all the rest of my project, they are not visible, so you're gonna be able to see it this way. And the only project that I have open is that it is this one. For example, if I click in here,
because maybe you are not interested in showing all your projects. Maybe only
the rest of the project are not interested in showing them, so that's why they are private, so nobody else can see them.
There will be no open, so you will keep the privacy of your projects.
That's right. So this one is open because I want you guys, if you want, you can go to my public profile and you're gonna be able to see. So if I go here,
I will do it for sure.
Yeah, if you go here, for example, you're gonna be able to see everything. For example, if you click in project here, you're gonna be able to see the project report. You're gonna be able to see the project report with all the calculation that we carry out. All the information, this is all the information that I showed you before. Then you're gonna be able to see the ISC file, the material schedule, and the quantities that we calculate. And if you click in here, you're gonna be able to download it if you wanna take a look at it. And then here in the 3D view, again, you're gonna be able to see it. And the last change said that it was 18 minutes ago, for example. And here you're gonna be able to see everything. And that's it. I don't know, Evaristo, I think I'm done. You have something else to say?
Well, actually, no. I like very much the way you have explained the whole thing, and I think our audience has been able perfectly to understand the different steps to create a protection and safety system with our software. So for me, it's a splendid way to show people this of these webinars. So thank you very much, Greve. And okay, maybe we will be together in future webinars. Okay?
Yes, and you're welcome. I mean, it's my pleasure. So guys, if you have any question, you can send them to us. For example, you can send them to support@CYPE.com, and we are gonna be answering to you. So if you have any question about this webinar and the information that we have shown you, you can send them to the address that I just said, and we are going to be answering to you. So that's all for now. Have a nice one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day.